Welcome back to the development of our employee management tool. This third video will show how to add and edit employees using our employee management form. So let's VBA. We want to start this off by adding a new employee. Well, when we add a new employee, we enter in all of the data. We're going to click Save Employee. The Save Employee is going to either add the employee or update an existing employee. So it's got a decision to make, and let's look at that decision. When we look at this code, you'll see that I had to dim a variable find as a range because it's going to find the employee number. If it finds it, then it's just going to simply edit that employee information. If that employee number does not exist, then it's going to add a new employee. So we see on sheet 2, which is where our employee information is, it's going to search column D because remember column D is where our employee numbers are at. And then it's going to look for Reg 3. Remember, Reg 3 is the employee number on our user form. And it wants to look at the whole number. We don't want to return any partial numbers. So if not find is nothing, so basically if it does find an employee number, it's going to hop down to the edit employee code. If not, then it's going to go to the add employee code. So that's what this is going to trigger. I've also added a little level of protection for the user because we don't want them duplicating an employee number. So basically, I've set it up to where it's going to take Reg 3, which is the employee number, and it's going to see if it can find it in column D. And it's looking at the whole because we don't want it to return partials. If that number already exists, it's going to pop up with a message box that says this employee number already exists. And then it's going to exit the sub, meaning it's going to stop running all code so that the user can go in and look up the employee number and make sure they have the correct one in there. Now that it's made the decision that the employee number is not duplicate, it knows that it needs to add a new employee, the code is really pretty basic because we set this up correctly by doing our Reg 1 through Reg 17. So what we had to do here is we had to dim a variable called next row, and we dimmed it as long. And what that means is more it's going to be a number instead of an actual cell address. So I dimmed that as long because we're going to have to find the next row in our data and then add the employee information. So when I do this, you'll see that I have my next row. Since it's long, we don't put the word set in front. It's just next row equals. Now we're with sheet 2, so all we have to do is dot cells, rows dot count because it wants to count the number of rows. And we want to start with column 1. We want to see how many rows are in column 1. And then we do this dot end XL up. So basically it's looking up to see what we've got. And then we do dot row, so that identifies we're wanting the row number, but then we're going to plus 1. When we plus 1, that takes us to the next row. So now we're going to set our CNUM to equal 17 for our reg 1 through 17. And it's the same thing for x equals 1 to 17, dot cells, and then here we put our next row because our next row is now a number. It is the next blank row that we have. And then I'm going to put x plus 1 because remember with this is our cell reference. So this is our next row. And then x plus 1 puts us into column 2 because remember column 1 is where we have our combined first and last name. So we want our first name to go in column 2. So I just do a x plus 1. And that's going to equal our me.controls reg and x.value, just like what we've been doing this whole time. So it's going to keep cycling through that until all the columns are filled with all the information that's in the user form. Now, I did tell you guys I had a little trick for getting the full name into the first column, and that is simply going to be dot cells, and we're still in the next row, but now we're in column 1. In column 1, we want to take reg 1, which is the first name. We put the and symbol, and then we put quotes with a space between it because we need a space between our first and last name. Another and symbol, and then reg 2, which is the last name. And so that's going to enter that into column A for the next row. And then I'm going to pop up a little message box saying, hey, your employee has been added. It lets the user know that it worked. There's another part to this add employee that we talked about when we were setting up our list sheets. And that is when you add a new employee, and let's say it's a new job title or a new department or a new supervisor, we we need to add that to our list sheet so it populates our drop-down menus, but we don't want to have to manually go in and do that every time. So this is going to be a part of this add employee. So after you get all the information in there, it is now going to go to sheet 3. Remember, sheet 3 is our list sheet. And we're going to have two variables. We have find as range and last row is long. Range is more of the address, and long is going to be just a row number. And so we're going to set our find to where it's going to look in sheet 3, it's going to look at column C, and it's looking for reg 12, which is our job title. And we want to look at the Excel whole. We don't want any partial matches, we want a complete match. Then we're also going to define our last row as dot cells rows dot count, because remember it's going to count all the rows that have information in it. And it's column 3, column C. So that's column 3, dot end, XL up, dot row. Now we're going to do a +1 here because we want it to now enter this information into the next blank row. So we're going to say if find is nothing. So in this situation, if it doesn't find reg 12, so if find is nothing, then it's going to go to dot cells last row. So whatever that next blank row is, column 3, because it's in column C, is going to equal reg 12. It's as simple as that. Now, I do like to kind of keep things alphabetical order in my lists. So we're going to go ahead and do a sort on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go dot range, and we're going to do C2 through C10,000. And you could make this number whatever you think it might be. I just exaggerate it just to make sure I cover everything. I start with C2 because I don't want the column header to be included. That's sitting in C1. And then I'm going to do a dot sort. And when you do this, you have to put what it's sorting by. So the key one is going to be the first cell, C2. We want the order to be ascending. So we want it, A to Z. And then we're defining that there is no header. We're not going to include it. If you wanted to do C1 through C10,000, and you could put Excel header yes, then that way it won't include that either. But this is just how I've always done it. So it will then sort the list to put it into alphabetical order. And we're just going to repeat that for departments, which is in column D. So we change our number to 4 and put reg 13, and everything else is the same. And same thing for reports too. That's in column B. So it'll be column 2 in everything else. So you're just copying and pasting down and just adjusting for your column number. It's super easy to do, and it's just one less thing you have to think about when it comes to your drop-down menus. And then the last part of add employee is going to be we need to clear the form. You don't need to leave the employee information in there. So we want to go ahead and remove everything out. It's just like what we did before to clear. We set our CNUM to 17 because we have reg 1 through reg 17. So for x equals 1 to basically 17. We do the me dot controls reg and x dot value equals the double quotes to give it a blank, just like what we've been doing before. And you make sure to put the next in there so it keeps looping around. So yeah, super easy to add an employee like this. Okay, so let's look at this in action now that we have that code. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit the little play button. And it's going to bring this up, and I am going to add in a new employee. Notice how I'm hitting tab every time to get to my next user entry field. We're going to say we're all living at the North Pole. And then for our zip code, we'll put in, we're just populating some information. A lot of times when I do this, I just put junk information in just so I can test it. It doesn't really matter. Date of birth. Look what happens when I click off of that. Notice it reformats to my date format. All right, job title. He's going to be a toy shipper. His department, though, we're going to make a new one. He's going to be in swing sets. And we're going to say that Sally's supervisor is his supervisor and the employee number. And we're going to say his new hire date. All right, so now I'm going to hit Save Employee. Employee has been added. And notice everything goes away. So now let's take a look. I'm going to hit Close. I'm going to go back over here to my sheet and look at that. There's swing sets. It was already in alphabetical order, but it added it to that. So a great little trick to have to help save time later. Now, if it's decided that the employee already does exist and you're just needing to update their information, maybe they changed departments or they've moved and it's a different address, whatever the case might be, it's going to go to this edit employee code that we have. So I dimmed find as range because we're going to have to find this employee on sheet 2, which is where our employee information is housed. So it's the same thing we've been doing. We're going to set our find equal to, we're going to look in column D because we're going to look everybody up by their employee number because that's the one thing that's unique to every employee is their employee number. So it's going to find that number. Now, if not, find us nothing. We put that in there because you never know, a mistake could happen and it gets through this code and it shouldn't. So this code is only going to run if it finds the employee number in there. So it's the same thing as before that we've been doing. We have, reg 1 through 17, so we're going to have it do the same thing. Here's the difference though. We have our find is going to give us where this employee number is sitting. So if we say find dot row, that's going to be wherever that employee number is, it's going to be the row that it's in. So this is actually a row number by putting dot row on there. And then X plus 1, because remember we're starting in column 2, and that's going to equal the reg and X, which in this case would be reg 1 dot value, then reg 2. And so that's why we're going to add it like that. And remember, we always put the next in, so it keeps looping. And then, of course, we want it to go ahead and populate the first and last name as well, because the name could change also. So it's still find.row, but now it's column 1, and it's going to combine the first name and the last name with the space in between. Then it's going to give a message that says the employee has been updated because you want to let the user know that what they did worked. And it's then going to clear the form just like what we did for adding an employee. Let's go ahead and now test our edit code. I always test after I build new code because you never know when you make a mistake, something small, it's really easy to do. All right, so we'll play just so we can test it here. And let's look up Mr. Frost. And we're double click him and all his information shows up here. But let's just say that instead of a toy shipper, he's actually a toy admin. And I'm going to click Save Employee. And it's going to tell me employee has been updated. And it clears it out just like what we needed to. So if I double click him again, you'll see now he's toy admin. So yeah, that's all there is to adding and editing employee information using VBA code. It's really pretty simple. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. You can add bells and whistles as you find a need for it and grow your skill. So will drop this file down in the notes below the video for you to use when playing around with this code. And if you have any questions, just ask in the comments section and I'll be happy to help. But yeah, that's it for this video number 3, and we hope to see you for video number 4.